Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Classic Album Rewind, the show we're doing here in the month of June 2021, where we take a look at classic albums by classic bands that perhaps get overshadowed just a little bit by the mega album that came right before it. Okay, these albums also, in many cases, are kind of mega albums, but they may be slightly overshadowed by their elder sibling, which came out right before it. In this instance, we're going to take a look at New York's very own Kiss. All right, the album in question released November 11th, 1976, recorded at the Star Theater in Nanuet, New York, not too far from where I live, on the Casablanca label, produced by Eddie Kramer. Of course, we're talking Rock and Roll Over by Kiss. This comes hot on the heels the same year as their, one of their biggest albums in their career, Destroyer. Okay. So, Destroyer, really, it was Kiss Alive that really kind of put this band on the map, but it was Destroyer that kind of cemented their mega stardom, and that would continue with, of course, Rock and Roll Over and Love Gun, right? So, but today we're going to talk all about Rock and Roll Over. So, pretty brief album. 33 minutes and change, right? It's quick in, quick out. A lot of really good tracks on here, though. It starts off with the cool Paul Stanley song, in the morning I raise my head and I'm thinking of days gone by, and the thing I want out of life is I Want You, right? Great song. Good kick-ass rocker that kicks off the album. They would play this live. Standout track on the album. Standout track on the album. From there, we're going to go to Take Me, also written by Paul Stanley, sung by Paul as well. Take Me Any Way You Want. Good riff in that song. Another good upbeat rocker on this classic album here. From there, we've got the Gene Simmons track Calling Dr. Love. Another song that would find their way into their live set list for years and years to come. All right, and as good as the studio version is, maybe even better on Kiss Alive too, right? Calling Dr. Love, big, beefy rocker, followed up by Ladies' Room. Meet you in the Ladies' Room. What are they going to do in there? Well, I'll never tell. Again, another Gene Simmons classic from this. Both Calling Dr. Love and Ladies' Room would become big concert staples throughout the years. And then the last song on side A of the album, all right, the first half of the CD, is a great Peter Criss song written with Peter and Stan Pendridge. Apparently, Baby Driver had its kind of genesis in Peter Criss's pre-Kiss band, right? Baby Driver, killer song, great vocal from Peter. One of my favorite vocals from Peter Criss. I think he was kind of like the somewhat underutilized secret weapon in the band, although he did usually sing one or two songs per album up until a point. But arguably for me, had the coolest voice out of all the guys. As much as I owe, Paul, great vocalist back in the day. I've long said that Gene Simmons, although not by any means in any stretch of the imagination a classic vocalist, had a awesomely cool singing voice because it totally portrayed the whole demon persona. Well, for me, Peter Criss had that gruff, kind of gravelly New York City streets type of a vocal style, which I think also kind of, really, that's the kind of guy he was anyway. And I think it perfectly suited him. And Baby Driver's got this cool, big, beefy riff, good heavy metal stomping track with this great gravelly, vocal from Peter Criss. For me, the MVP hidden gem on this album. But we move over onto side two. You got the very engaging and catchy Love 'Em and Leave 'Em, all right? Sung and written by Mr. Simmons, and knowing Gene's history with the ladies. Total biographical track right there. Love 'Em and Leave 'Em. Good, fun, hard rock song. And then you've got another Paul Stanley track here. Mr. Speed. Good, old school kind of rock song. All right, there's a couple of them on this album, actually. From there, we go to See You in Your Dreams, another Gene Simmons song. This would also resurface on his solo album, okay, when the guys put out 4 solo albums. Not long after this. that would again resurface with bigger production values and, you know, turn it more into kind of like a grandiose type of piece. But here, still good in its infancy on this album. Good, catchy rocker. Then you've got a song written by Paul Stanley, sung by Peter Criss, Hard Luck Woman. Kind of trying to be Beth Part 2. The song was, you know, a little bit of a hit for them, not the massive hit that Beth was. Hard Luck Woman kind of sounds like a Rod Stewart track to me. Never a big fan. It's okay. And then you've got the last song on the album, track number 10, written by Paul, sung by Paul, Making Love. All night long, right? Great album. Cool album cover, I always thought, right? It's effective. It's colorful. It's got, you know, they take basically the logo, and it's got lots of kind of lightning bolt jaggedness about everything on here. Very cool. Probably looks great on a tattoo. Certainly looks great on a t-shirt, right? A little bit different than Destroyer, which is, you know, obviously drawn in a different style. But here you got the guys looking larger than life. Pretty neat, I think, for a great album. This, you know, might be one of Kiss's most upbeat rockin' albums. They've got, you know, obviously the early ones are pretty heavy as well. I always, you know, Hotter Than Hell is my favorite Kiss album. That's a little more kind of like early 70s kind of grimy, raw, heavy, whereas this is, you know, big and bright and just, you know, kind of raging top and start to finish for the most part. But yeah, an album that, ironically enough, the more like Kiss fans that I talk to, like in recent years, the album that seems to come up a lot with people as their now favorite. I mean, I know a lot of people who have been Kiss fans as long as I have, since the mid-70s. And, you know, for me growing up, I always leaned towards Destroyer. You know, I love Kiss a lot, but I'm talking about the studio albums. You know, Destroyer was my favorite Kiss studio album for many, many years. I always loved the first three. I love Gun a lot. I always really liked this album, but for whatever reason, this album never quite ranked as high for me back in the day when I was a kid. But as I'm getting older, I find my appreciation keeps growing for this more and more. In fact, I have grown to appreciate this album more, whereas this one has kind of dipped a little bit on my kind of favorites list, if you've seen the ranking shows I've done here, and the one I did with Guitar Hack not long ago. And, you know, Hotter Than Hell has risen up to the top. Well, this is an upper echelon album too, right? Quite good. So curious to see what your thoughts are on this classic album as we rewind to Rock and Roll Over today. So let us know what some of your favorite songs are on this album. And to me, it's a total classic. And I think that more and more people are talking about this album these days. And a lot of people seem to be liking it more than Destroyer, at least that I've been talking to. But it doesn't really matter. They're both classic. They're both great. But this is the one that's the star of the show today. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Coming up each and every day in the month of June. More of these classic album rewinds. Got a whole bunch of cool ones coming up in the days ahead, so stay tuned for that. Coming up shortly, ranking the albums of the Amboy Dukes, Ted Nugent and company. So stay tuned for that. That's coming right up. And tomorrow, of course, is Hudson Valley Square night. Monday night, Must See TV. We've got In the Prague Seat on Tuesday. Wednesday is New Product Review Day. We've got some cool stuff here. We've got the latest from Big Big Train, the latest from Flotsam and Jetsam, new cool live archival release from Can, and yeah, this bad boy right here. So stay tuned for that, and a hell of a lot more on the channel. Oh, new Dennis DeYoung as well. That's also coming up. So hope to squeeze all of those in. If not, whatever I don't make, I'll save for the following week. But that's coming up Thursday. The Monsters Den. We've got to look at some of our favorite Alfred Hitchcock thrillers. Friday morning at the Funhouse with Martin Popoff. Friday morning. And then we'll see what the weekend brings, right? So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you real soon. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you get emails of all of our content as it's released. We've got the link to our Ko-Fi page if you want to make a donation. We thank you in advance if you do. And a link to our merch page where we have all sorts of cool See It Tranquility merchandise. So thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.